Welcome to the thrilling world of the flying runner, brought to you by the Marathon Mates.
Hey there, it's Tony here from The Flying Runner, and welcome to Out and Back. Out and Back, the turnaround point for your weekly running journey. Now, I remember when we finished Berlin Marathon in 2023, and we were talking about the course. Now, many of us actually appreciated the flat profile that Berlin is. But I remember clearly at the time how Taro was talking about how it worked the same muscles over and over again for 26.2 miles, and how I think it was her hips at the time were really starting to play up a day or two after the marathon. And it was wholly and solely because of the repetition and the routine that she faced on running that same profile right throughout the course. And it got me thinking recently, because many runners end up running the same sort of routes that they do, the routes that they do. We become creatures of routine. We become creatures of habit. And I know that Sharon and I do. But running the same routes can often be bad for us, because for exactly the same reason that Tara found in Berlin, our muscles tend to follow a similar pattern in every run. And so I thought I would just have a think about and have a look and see how you can vary your routines and how you can vary your runs to help work different muscles. And what I found is we can start by looking at new terrain. So we've talked with Kay Mass on the podcast before about trail running, and she talked about how trail running works her up muscles. So most of us tend to just run on roads and run on the same surface, but when we mix up our new terrains and we work and run on things like trails, tracks, potentially sand along the beach and grass, it actually engages different muscles, and it can help you get more well-rounded in your training and your running. Of course, hill training is another area that strengthens things like your glutes and your quads and your calves, while downhill running can actually engage your core and helps with your technique. So once again, just working the muscles differently to help them gain strength. It's also important from our own mindset and to look at varying our runs. And more scenic runs are often very much the way to go, because running in a new area gives off some new mental refreshment, I guess would be the word that you'd use. You're mentally refreshed, you're looking at something new, etc., etc. And that can help us gain some motivation in running longer. Now, of course, any sort of training plan should have different routines, different distances, different directions. And part of our plan should incorporate that. So whether it's speed or endurance training, it should be part of any good plan. If you are got a regular route, which is what Sharon and I have, we have a regular run that we do, run it in an opposite direction just to give you some new perspective and some new challenges. And of course, looping out and back routes keeps runs interesting, and once again it helps you discover potentially new areas. As you know, Sharon and I do compass runs, which you can find on a previous episode of Out and Back, to be honest, but our compass runs all come back to a central point, and we've got loops that span out from that central point. So, of course, there's things like interval training and fartlek training that are awesome for you as part of that, working different muscles and different, looking for speed, endurance, and of course they're absolutely critical for you to be able to gain strength where you need them. So, and don't shy away from running a hill if you do have a hill in your route. So it's always good to be able to take on the terrain as it is and not necessarily provide any mental anguish about how to avoid things like hills that may pop up in your regular runs. So, something to think about when you're preparing for your next race. Just vary how you do your training runs, vary your routines and habits. And along the way, you're going to be engaging your muscles in a different way and will help make you a stronger runner. Hey, thanks for tuning in. As always, if you like our podcast, please subscribe wherever you are tuned in. Leave a review as it really does help others find us. Watch out for our next full episode coming out this Friday. Uh, it's always one not to miss, and we are so grateful that people take us out on your long runs. So we really do appreciate that. Until then, I hope to see you out there. Happy running.